Making Out at School by Goth Journey. Jenny Fenton would wake up in the morning at 7:52 a.m. for another day at Casper High for his second year of high school. Jenny Fenton would yawn and stretch out of his bed. At that moment, Jenny Fenton would see a goth girl looming above his bed. It was his best friend, girlfriend, future wife, maybe someday. Danny Fenton would look at his girlfriend, Sam Manson. "How'd you sleep, Sam?" Danny says. Danny Fenton would look at his girlfriend, Sam Manson. "Actually great, my parents didn't wake me up this time. Thanks to Goths," Sam Manson said. Danny Fenton would laugh a bit at Sam Manson's comment, because he's covering himself with his blanket. "Yeah, I'm not decent at the moment, Sam," Danny says. Sam Manson smirks. "Oh, come on, I'm your girlfriend. Can't I have a little look?" Sam Manson says. Danny Fenton would blush at Sam Manson. "We are not up to that yet, Sam, so no," Danny says. Sam Manson would roll her eyes at her boyfriend, Danny Fenton, in disappointment. Well, I'll be outside your bedroom when you're done," Sam Manson says. "Okay, Sam," Danny says. Sam Manson would go outside of Danny Fenton's bedroom. Danny Fenton would take off his clothes and he would be naked from head to toe. Danny Fenton would pull out blue jocks. Danny Fenton would put them on. Danny Fenton would pull out light blue jeans, a shirt with red cuffs on the sleeves, and a red circle in the middle, and a red collar. Sam Manson would be waiting outside, leaning on a wall next to the staircase with her arms crossed, with a goth expression on her face, waiting for her boyfriend to come out of his bedroom. He would put on his white shirt with red cuffs, the shirt with short sleeves, and a red circle in the middle with a red collar. He would then pull out a dark blue jacket with long sleeves with a white collar and dark blue cuffs. He would put it over his shirt with red cuffs with sleeves and a red circle in the middle of it. He would then pull out socks with ghosts on them. He would then put the socks on with the ghost on them. He would then pull out his red-white sneakers. He would then put on his red-white sneakers. He would tighten his Converses. "Okay, done. I hope I didn't keep Sam waiting." Then Danny Fenton would open his door, and he would open it and go outside his bedroom and goes to Sam. "So, Sam, how do I look?" he would say to his girlfriend, Sam Manson. He would be wearing light blue jeans, a shirt, red cuffs with sleeves, with a red circle in the middle, with a dark blue jacket with long sleeves, with blue socks and with blue jocks and red-white sneakers. Sam Manson would look at Danny Fenton, her boyfriend. "Still the same as ever," she would smirk at Danny, her boyfriend. Danny would look at Sam Manson, his girlfriend. He would laugh at Sam Manson's comment. "Oh, ha ha, of course," Danny says. Sam Manson would look at Danny Fenton, her boyfriend. She would laugh a bit at Danny's compliment. "Well, I'm all dressed. How do I look, Danny?" Sam Manson would be wearing light brown, long sleeve leather gloves with a black choker and with purple shorts, with a bit of black boots with a bit of purple, and a black tie with light brown leggings, and purple lipstick, and her hair black with a bit of purple, and a black top with a purple oval in the middle. Good, Danny would say, blushing at his girlfriend's clothes. Sam Manson. He would hide his blush from his girlfriend, Sam Manson. Sam Manson would see her boyfriend blushing and smirks. Is that blushing I see? She would say to Danny, smirking at him. No, Danny says, stuttering. Sam Manson would look at her boyfriend. You are such a liar, she would say to Danny. Oh, and you don't do it when you did it that day at school? Danny would say. Sam Manson would roll her eyes at Danny. Whatever, she would say. Danny Fenton would look at Sam Manson. Let's get ready for school, he would say, getting stopped mid-sentence. Sam Manson had kissed Danny Fenton on the lips. Danny Fenton would look at Sam Manson, blushing. Come on, Sam, can't we make out in my ghost form? He would say, blushing. Sam Manson would look at Danny Fenton. Sam Manson would feel Danny's cheek. Is that what you want, darling? She says, laughing in a flirting way. Danny Fenton would look at Sam Manson, blushing. Are you being naughty? Danny Fenton would say, blushing. Sam Manson would look at Danny Fenton. Danny Fenton would stop blushing. Sam Manson would give Danny a flirting expression. Maybe I am, she would say to Danny in a flirting way. Danny Fenton would look at Sam Manson. Danny Fenton would laugh in a nervous way. Sam Manson would look at Danny Fenton. No, I'm teasing you, she says. Oh, haha, of course, Danny would say, scratching his head in embarrassment. Sam Manson would look at Danny Fenton. Ha ha, you don't change, do you? She said. Danny Fenton would shake his head. Nope, Danny Fenton would say. Danny Fenton would laugh for no reason. Sam Manson would look at Danny Fenton. She would sigh. At that moment, someone would be calling for Danny's name. It was Danny's mother, inventor, ghost hunter, Jack's wife, Jazz's mother, and Danny's adopted mother. Danny, Maddie Fenton would say, calling for her son. Danny Fenton would look at Sam Manson. Oh, shoot, it's Mom. Danny would go back into his bedroom. Sam Manson would follow Danny back into his bedroom. Danny would say to Sam Manson, Huh? Sam Manson would say. Sam Manson would say. Danny Fenton would look at Sam Manson. Danny Fenton would open his door to his window and he would whisper to Sam Manson, Go through my window and I'll meet you at school. Danny would say to Sam, whispering to her, Okay, she would say, climbing out of Danny's window. Danny would close his window's door. Maddie Fenton would knock on his door and open it and comes into his room. Is everything okay, Danny? Maddie would say to Danny, coming into Danny's room. Danny Fenton would look at his mom. Yes, Mom, I'm okay. I'm heading out to school now. Maddie Fenton would look at her son. Maddie Fenton would smile sweetly at her son. Okay, sweetie, Maddie Fenton would say, smiling sweetly at Denny. Jack Fenton would come into Denny's room. Jack Fenton is Denny's father and Jazz's, Maddie's husband, and Danny's adopted father. Hey, Danny, you okay? Hey, Danny, you okay? Is there any ghosts? Jack Fenton would say in a stupid tone. Jack Fenton would look at his son. Danny Fenton would look at his dad. Danny Fenton would exhale. No, Dad, there's no ghosts. Can I go to school now, please? Danny would say, getting annoyed with his dad. Maddie Fenton would look at her son. Oh, yeah, Maddie Fenton would say to her son. Jack Fenton would look at his son. Yes, just don't use them ghost powers in school, okay, Danny? Jack Fenton says to his son. Danny Fenton would look at his dad, getting more annoyed. Okay, again, okay, Dad, Danny Fenton would say, very annoyed. Jack Fenton would look at his son. Oh, how's that Sam person? Jack Fenton would say in a stupid way. Danny Fenton would look at his dad, and his face would change to embarrassed. She's okay, Danny would say embarrassed. Danny Fenton would look at his son. So, are you two up to, Jack Fenton teases his son. Danny Fenton would look at his dad. What? No, we haven't got to that stage, Danny Fenton would say, embarrassed. Danny Fenton would look at his son. Oh, you can talk to me any time about life, Jack Fenton would say. Danny Fenton would look at his dad. Danny is annoyed. Okay, Dad, can I go now? Danny says, annoyed. Jack Fenton would look at his son. Jack Fenton would smile at his son with big teeth. Sure, Danny, Jack Fenton would say. Mom, Dad, I'm off, Jasmine Fenton would say. Jasmine Fenton is both Jack's and Maddie's daughter, and she's Danny's big sister, an adopted genetic big sister to Danny. Bye, Princess. Bye, Princess. Bye, Princess, Jack Fenton would say to his daughter. See you, sweetie, Maddie Fenton would say to her daughter. Jazz Fenton would come out of her room, and she would walk downstairs to the front door, and she would open it, and she would go into the garage, and she would go to her car, and she would open her car door, and she would get into the driver's seat, and she would put her car keys in, and she would start up her car, and she would drive to Casper High. Bye, Mom and Dad, Danny Fenton would say. Have a nice day at your second day of high school, Danny, Jack Fenton and Maddie Fenton would say in unison. Danny Fenton would walk out of his room, and he would go to the front door, and he would open the door, and he would walk outside, and he would close the door. Okay, I'm going ghost, he would say, transforming his clothes, changing to his new jumpsuit. Danny Phantom would fly to Casper High, to be continued.